Created in the image of God. Are we like God? The fact that we, humans, were created is what makes creation so remarkable. The origin and nature of man are distinct from those of all other creatures who were formed from the words of God. In Genesis 1:26, God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." In this video, we will discuss what this verse means and understand what being like God means. What does it mean for man to be created in God's image? How do we look like Him? According to Grudem, when God says, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness," in Genesis 1:26, the meaning is that God plans to make a creature similar to Himself. Both the Hebrew word for image and the Hebrew word for likeness refer to something that is similar but not identical to the thing it represents or is an image of. The word image can also be used for something that represents something else. So Genesis 1:26 would simply mean, "Let us make man to be like us and to represent us." Is there any sense in which our human bodies are also a part of what it means to be made in the image of God? Certainly, we should not think that our physical bodies imply that God Himself has a body, for God is spirit, as stated in John 4:24. And it is sin to think of Him or to portray Him in any way that would imply that He has a material or a physical body. See Exodus 24, Psalm 115, 3-8, and Romans 1:23. However, our bodies reflect God's own character. For example, our physical bodies gives us the ability to see with our eyes. This is a godlike quality because God Himself sees, and sees far more than we will ever see, although He does not do it with physical eyes like we have. Our ears gives us the ability to hear, and this is a godlike ability, even though God does not have physical ears. Our mouths give us the ability to speak, reflecting the fact that God is a God who speaks. Our senses of taste, touch, and smell give us the ability to understand and enjoy God's creation, reflecting the fact that God Himself understands and enjoys His creation, though in a far greater sense than we do. What several aspects of our existence show us to be more like God than all the rest of creation? First, moral aspects. We are creatures who are morally accountable before God for our actions. Also, we have an inner sense of right and wrong that sets us apart from animals. Second, spiritual aspects. We can act in ways that are significant in the immaterial, spiritual world of existence because we have both immaterial spirits and physical bodies. This means that we have a spiritual life that enables us to relate to God as persons, to pray and praise Him, and to hear Him speaking His words to us. Third, mental aspects. We have an ability to reason, think logically, and learn, and that sets us apart from the animal world. Fourth, relational aspects. Although animals, no doubt, have some sense of community with each other, the depth of interpersonal harmony experienced in human marriage, in a human family, when it functions according to God's principles, and in a church, when a community of believers is walking in fellowship with the Lord and with each other, is much greater than the interpersonal harmony experienced by any animals. It is indeed clear that we, humans, are gifted with abilities far greater than the abilities of other creatures. In contrast to the rest of God's creation, we have the capacity to be more like God over the course of our life. This truth can help us better appreciate the ways in which we are like God. When we consider the magnificence of all the other aspects of God's creation, this knowledge will instill in us a deep sense of dignity and significance. Since we are reflections of God, let us live lives that reflect God so that others may recognize and honor Him. After all, we are created in His image and likeness.